So what happened was I talked to Kaylin on the phone. That light is bright. I talked to Kaylin on the phone, and we started talking and comparing children and everything else. And we started to talk about the whole Sisel program and how I had done everything in my career. And it was pretty easy for him to kind of go on YouTube, and he saw a lot of what I had done on YouTube. And it's been different. It's been very different. For me, I spent 36 years. And I'm not too sure how much everybody knows about me, but I'm 54 years old, and it's kind of weird, too, because I actually still have the same lifting belt that I had when I was 18 and a half and started working out. And, yeah, that's, like, really amazing. And so not too many people get to say they're still wearing the same belt that they had about 20, 30, 40 years ago. But talking to Kaylin and so many of the other people that are in this field, it was kind of almost distressing. Because I've spent 36 years to work at something. Now, I don't know what careers everyone are in, but if you do something for 36 years, and dedicate your life to it, and then you turn around and you find a product that comes to you that can almost turn back the hands of time, there's nothing more amazing. If you can fathom what I've done my 36 years, as far as all the thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds I've lifted every day for hours, all the food I've taken in. I can tell you, like, when in the universe, I'll try to give you a little bit about what I did, okay? A lot of people have, like, misnomers and misconceptions, and there's all kinds of urban legends about how someone builds muscle and how much time it takes. And so people will come up to me, and they turn around and they're like, well, you must spend hours in the gym. You must do all kinds of work. The food you take in. The food is the hardest part. It really is the hardest part. And this company is going to make it so easy. And so when I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you this, and I just said this to Tom, and I've said this to KP and a couple other guys that are in my area, that this is either the greatest product I've ever run across in my life, or this is the biggest fib on the planet. Because we didn't have this opportunity. When I first started out, when I was 18 and a half, again, 36 years ago, I was having to take everything from brewer's yeast to you name it to try to stay healthy. And guys would literally stand over the sink and gag this down. And whatever didn't go down went into the sink. So, I don't have to draw much more of a picture than that for you to understand how intolerant that you can, you start to take this stuff. It tasted like sand. It just had no flavor to it. There was another thing that I had. It was predigested protein. Yes. But listen, you crack open a bottle. It was a bottle that was like 8 ounces. And I at that time I was 18 years old. I wasn't reading every label. I just wanted to know if it made me grow, I was taking it, right? So I took this, I cracked it open. It was supposed to have a cherry flavor. Now, if you're our age and you turn around and you have something that has a cherry flavor back then, it didn't have a cherry flavor. It was almost like, it fooled your parents, it fooled you just to get it down. So I turned around, did like one swig of it, put it in the fridge, came back the next day. And again, not to gross you guys out, I swear it smelled like a dead mouse. It was so gross. And this is the stuff I've gone through all of my 36 years. And all of this has been like shaved off. So with this company, it's like rounding the corners. It's like going through like a muscle magazine, and you're just tearing out page after page after page. And pretty soon, you're pitching ads. You're pitching this lie. You're pitching that. There's probably like 5, 6, 7 different bodybuilders in there that have articles, and none of them are true. 36 years. So after 2 years, I turned around and I started flying to California. So here I find myself out in California. I'm watching all the greats out there train and going back and forth, and I'm watching them. After years of being able to compete and practice and work out, compete in competitions, I go back to California. Now I'm huge. Now everybody wants a piece of me. And you turn around, and it isn't really what it seems. So for me, that's the level I want to get at to be able to tell a story. But now this gets to complete it. To be able to have a supplement that gives me the opportunity to complete it, and then to be able to help everybody else that may walk into my gym or walk into my life, or come on the internet. And some of the stuff I've seen that are going to be the mediums for you guys are going to be incredible. And so what I want to do is be able to have a piece of that so that everyone can come to me. So I talked to guys last night, and they were talking to me about number one MMA wrestlers and football players. And they'd come up to me and say, well, how do I sell these guys? How do I get them convinced? How do I get them to change the program that they're on? There's so many stories that I have that it's like unbelievable. But I did the Mr. Universe the first time. And there's this guy, Charlie Caroli, that's the president of it. And I came up, and I'm the same height as Arnold. So let me give you a real quick picture of that. Arnold's 6'2", I'm 6'2". But this is the crazy part. And I can legally say this, okay? Arnold at his best was 236. I winning the universe, the pro natural universe, okay, was 250 naturally, drug-free, no steroids, at 1.3% body fat. Yes, exactly. Now here comes the crazy part. I did no cardio. I never went near a treadmill. I have my own endogenous testosterone, growth hormone, and lean mass. So what's the thing that everybody talks about? Well, if you have lean mass, you have a metabolism. So I practiced it. While everybody else was on the treadmill losing muscle, maybe a pound of muscle for every 2-3 pounds of fat. You don't need to do that. And all this stuff is popping into my head of stuff I want to share with you guys. But the fact of the matter is I started to take the Triangle of Life 3.5 weeks ago. We have a sailboat, and we go up, my family's here, and we turn around, and we read the labels on everything on the way up there. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get on board with this. So I crack open the bottles, and I start taking the bottles. So to date, I know exactly how much I've taken. I'm doing a swig, okay, of each every day. My manager, Maurice, is here, and everybody else, and he's jealous because he's like, you're the only one that's getting to do the Triangle Life in Rockford. And here's another thing another guy said to me, well, I wish I knew how to do that. But I checked my ab. The only place I ever carry any body fat, and I'm about a 33 and a half inch waist. That's tape measured, not like a suit. So about 33 and a half inch waist. And I caliper everything, 9-site body fat check. And so I dropped 13 millimeters in 3.5 weeks, and I've changed nothing. Nothing. So you have to understand that if I, at 53, my birthday's October 7th, so in a week. So at 53, I dropped 13 millimeters, doing nothing different with my food or diet, still taking in the same amount of fats, at 243 pounds, at 8% body fat. How quickly could it change you guys? You've got to try to get your mind around that. And I did no cardio. I still do no cardio. Okay? And so obviously when you get past 50, you have to do all the different tests that they go through for your colostomy and everything else, and colonoscopy and on and on and on. Went through all of that, flying colors, not one polyp, nothing. Okay? And so you have to check this stuff. We know that you have to check it when you get to a certain age. My resting heart rate, I still do no cardio, okay, is 48. And I do no cardio. So think of the ramifications of just being able to do these nutrients, these supplements. You get into the gym. You start to work out. You purge all that stuff out of your cells. You start to eat clean. You start to replenish it. You start to put all these products back in. This is dreamy. I mean, it's seriously dreamy. And here what I've done for 36 years is trained hard, kicked up my testosterone levels, kicked up my growth hormone levels. I'm not sure what you guys know about that stuff. I want to be a part in some capacity to be able to talk about the nutrients and everything that I've done in the gym to be able to stay at this point. So when people see me, it's like, okay, so you got to be using some sort of hair color. You got to be doing something to take care of the teeth. You got to be doing something to take care of the skin. I did for 36 years. Now I'm going to wring Tom's neck because he's come up with so many products that can take care of all that at this point in your life. All you've got to do is start to work out and exercise. And so the capacity that I'm wanting to be in with all of you is to be able to come to me, to be able to ask the questions. They're so easy and they're so quick, and I can help you to understand what catabolic is. Does anybody know what catabolic is? Raise your hands if you know what catabolic is. Raise them up high. Okay, in this packed room, there's only 3 or 4. Seriously, raise your hands high. Catabolic. All right, 1, 2, 3. And he's a doctor over there, so he doesn't count. But the fact of the matter is, catabolic is when your body is eating itself. It is happening every morning you miss breakfast. So how incredible is this new product going to be that's going to give you protein? I can't be the only one that's that excited about this. I seriously can't. Come on. I've worked my 36 years as being my own boss to try to reach people like you that are older that want to turn back those hands of time. And now you have an aid. It is almost virtually that pill we've been looking for. And I'm telling you, the work is unbelievable in the gym. But this can make it so easy. It's unbelievable. And the knowledge that I have. Catabolic, that's just a single word. There's so many others that are going to be able to help you as far as being able to strengthen your ligaments and bones and bone density and everything else. So you'll be able to have something that's going to be an aid that you trust and you believe in, and then you can speak on it, and you can talk about it to other people, and it's going to be an aid to be able to sell the product. It's pretty incredible. And so it's not been that it's that easy to find that product. I don't know how I stumbled across it. Obviously I've got between Addison and all these other guys that are in this company, everybody needs to work out. Everybody needs to stay in shape. Everybody needs to work on whatever is ailing them. I have a thing on my mirror. I write down all these quotes and all these sayings. And it's the most important thing is that if you look at all the products that they're talking about that are on the market and what they're going into your body, you're going to have to start to exercise to get some of that out. It doesn't work by osmosis. And God knows these products don't work on the shelf. So you've got to take them. And at this point, it's so fun and easy to be able to shake them and just drink them down. I've already been in that. My wife always asks me, she's like, how do you change so quickly? You see something, you adapt to it, you just change. Well, if it makes sense, how difficult is that? And everyone wants to look their best. It's just that it happens to be that you can go out and you can buy some clothes that'll make you think you look better. Make you think you look better. Now, by the time you step out of that shower and you got to face that mirror, that's the big problem. Now, I'm going to say there's a supplement company that I had used for quite a few years, and it's called, and I mean this, I can say this wholeheartedly, it's called Perillo Performance Supplements, okay? He was one of the better ones on the market, and so that was something that I had gone with. I talked to him about this company, and he didn't even try to change my mind. While I was on the phone, he went online and looked at this company. Think about that. And I told him, I said, I'm wanting to focus on being the face of fitness for this company. I am beyond sold on it. And we have been dear friends for 25 years. It is all he's done in his life. And I turned around, I talked to him, I'm like, well, they're looking for this fountain of youth. They're looking for this, that, and the other. He says, Jeff, look in the mirror. That's what you've done for 36 years. But how can I convince you guys to do it for 36 years if you only have maybe 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 more years? Start to work out. Start to exercise. Start to train. That's the biggest thing. Okay? And I can help you with every piece of that. Every piece of it. I promise you I can help you with it. I've done it that long. I've worked with thousands and thousands of people. So it's not that hard. You just have to trust me with that, no more than you trust in the company, and going from there. This is just where it's at. But you have to have the nutrients. Okay? So for 36 years, you don't need those years. You need these products. You need to exercise. You need to work out. And I'm going to make a personal commitment with Addison and Dan Block and the rest of them to be able to find a way to be able to have you guys be able to literally call me one by one, text me, email me one by one. Why wouldn't I? We're a team, right? Right? That's what I want to do. And so from that point on, That's the biggest thing that I want to focus on right now. It isn't about who I have come in, or anything else. And the way that they're breaking things down, the AK and people like that, to be able to develop something for you guys, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So I don't want to bore you with any kind of workouts. I don't want to have anybody come up here and bench press. I'm not going to have anybody take off their coat and compare abs or anything like that. But believe me, if I'm out there, if I'm standing anywhere, please approach me about anything you want to ask, about how you think that I see this product being able to help anybody in the gym, anybody with their fitness program, anything at all. 36 years. This is the time I feel that I can maximize all the knowledge I have in my head, everything that I've seen. A guy came up to me and says, you know, you did the first universe, and the president, Charlie Caroli, turned around and he said, you know what? All you got to do is be harder, be leaner and harder. That's it. Don't get bigger. You're the biggest thing I've ever seen. Don't get bigger. And I turned around and says, I'll be bigger and harder. No problem. And so that's what I did. And he started chewing me out, and we called each other. And you get a random phone call. So what they do is they check a clinic of all the pros in their federation. And what they do is they make a phone call. You have to be there in 48 hours. So if you're on a trip or a vacation, you have to drop everything. You have a list of fine print, 3 sheets of things you can't touch over the counter, for God's sakes. Over the counter, okay? So turn around and you go through that whole process, and that's what's called drug-free testing. So they take blood, urine, and a 45-minute polygraph test, okay? So what they do is they ask you repeatedly, what's your mother's name? Have you done any steroids? What's your father's name? Have you done any steroids? On and on and on, back and forth for 45 minutes. You couldn't talk about your life for 45 minutes, and they're grilling you for 45 minutes wired up, right? So you go through this whole process, but the thing that I saw that I needed to change to be able to beat everyone was to change. Okay? So I talked to a lot of guys, and they're saying, you can't take in egg whites. Too much sodium. The body's going to hold too much sodium. You can't do protein bars. It's going to have too much fat. It's going to have too much sodium. And you're going to have too many carbs. You can't do meal replacements. Can't do protein drinks. You're going to gain too much sodium. Can't do tap water. Got to do bottled water. Got to do distilled water. It's going to add too much to your body. Got to get off of this supplement. Got to get off of that. So you know what I did, right? The opposite of everything everybody said. The opposite. Because I knew also in my heart this was it. Okay? This was it. I wasn't going to compete any longer. All right? I'm 43 years old. I want to start a family. I want to settle down. I want to stop traveling. And that's it. I put everything into 9 months. So at the time, my girlfriend, my now wife, says, we're going to have a talk. When we get done with this, we're going to have a talk. You have gone through some serious changes. But I committed myself, okay? I committed myself to this. I committed myself to these changes and making them work. Every single thing. It ended up being about 9 changes. And crushed everyone. So in the last 25 years, 7 years before the conception of the WNBF, okay, I am now 30 pounds heavier than anyone that ever competed in that competition. 30 pounds heavier than anyone ever. So then we did some research, and we went through all the federations, all the natural federations. So in all the natural federations in the world, NPC, WNBF, AAU, you name it, I am the heaviest by 25 pounds in the world of all natural competitions ever in the history of natural competition. Yes. And I want to put that into this company. I want to put that into this company. I want to put that history, that reputation, that commitment, and that change to do what? To make this company number one. To keep this company number one. Period. And that's it. So all you have to do is ask any questions you have, any questions at all. I'll tell you anything about any of it, and hopefully at a point we'll be able to get it in so that you guys can send people to be able to get help from either myself or the team of people that I'll have that will be able to answer those questions. Okay? That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.